Well, we've had a very pleasant night at the Cayley place just up here, and we're now heading for the ferry check-in, which is not very far away. Let me show you. So the Cayley place was lovely, actually, other than the fact I had a very quirky hot water system in my room. It took a very long time for the hot water to come, like, you know, 10-15 minutes or something. When it did, it was fine. And then this morning there were some strange things with the hot tap as well. Other than that, it's a lovely place, and I would happily go back there again. And look how close it is to the harbour. There you go, right ahead of us here. Now, when we came here, passing through earlier, we thought we weren't going to see anything, but look, there is our ferry, because we've postponed the thing, so we're coming during daylight hours instead of at night. And there's the Loch Seaforth out of Glasgow. Fine looking ship. See how she copes with tonight's waves. Now I think we check in here. Good morning to you. That's Stafford-Fraser. This is the one.
That.
Lovely, thank you.
If you could just go around the van and just bang in your
In that
one of
one
those
of
ones
us.
there.
Lovely, will do. Thank you. And look, they have electric charging points right at the ferry dock. That's very cool. Next time I come here, it may well be in an electric car. And Scotland really is, well, for the population at least, fairly well equipped for charging points, and certainly they have them in a lot of scenic locations. There you go. Right. And the ferry is literally just across the road there. I mean, if I let my handbrake off, I could roll down the hill and up the slope and onto it, probably. I like small ports. Oh, there you go, my receipt, all nicely in an envelope of its own. I like small ports. Going onto big ships in small ports is kind of fun. It's like small airports. I you know, a lot of big airports, you walk down one tube and then along another tube, and then you get into a tube and fly across the Atlantic, and then you walk out of a third tube and back into another tube, and then you get to customs and so on. And whereas I like airports where you have to sort of walk across the tarmac to get to your airport. Actually, these days that's a bit more common, maybe because I'm going on budget airlines or short haul flights more. But there's something about being aware of the transport that you're going on, you know, getting the feel for the climate of the place you're departing from and the place you're going to, and so on, that I think is much more satisfying. Fairly stormy forecast for the way back, so or for the day. We're planning to come back on the 2nd, so it'll be interesting to see. I'm probably not coming back this way. I'll be coming back via Skye, and Skye is a shorter crossing, perhaps the guy was saying a little bit more sheltered. On the other hand, quite a bit smaller boat, so it'll be interesting to see what that's like. pleasure and surprise Tilly is allowed up here as well. The over there is the Christmas tree made of lobster pots that we saw earlier on our voyage, and you can almost see our bedroom indicating place from here. We can see, I think this may be the limit of our travels. Well, it is very good to be doing this during daylight. There's a waterfall over there. Little houses on the other side, on the other shore. Yeah, really very pleasant spot. Here. This is one of those places where you hang on tightly to your camera selfie stick, because it would be a great pity if I were to drop this here and now. There's a nice view back up the loch that way. A few boats bobbing in the harbour over there, and there's the road we came in on last night. Oh, looks as if we're just topping up with diesel. Here's the thing, if you've ever wondered how glamping pods get around, get to their final location, here's one down here. To return to our vehicle, so better go downstairs, take one last look at the view here in the sunshine. Lovely spot. Okay, this is Stornoway, somewhere I've always wanted to come. It's got such a great name. Stornoway sounds wild and windy. Okay, let's go get the van and go and see some more of the island. Well, in a minute we're about to roll off the ferry. We're basically, the island is kind of north-south, but we're heading westwards across it in a somewhat zigzaggy line to Ullapool, or if I'm pronouncing it correctly, I think it's Ullapool, and but we might have a little drive deliberately through Stornoway on the way, just to get a feel for the place. It's about an hour's drive from here to get to the Airbnb if you didn't stop, but I think we will stop. This way, Tarbert is this way, Tarbutt's where we'll get the ferry back to Skye on the way back, at least that's the current plan. Well, now that we're out of Stornoway, what we're getting is hills, small lochs, and strong winds and driving rain. It's actually, the rain has just about paused, but a moment ago it was beating across us fairly dramatically. Tilly has decided, unusually, that she'd like to sit up on this seat and have a look out. This is not very common for her, and she's sitting there somewhat unsteadily, but if she gets used to it, it's probably a far more interesting trip. Tilly, are you worried about something? She's panting away and she's shivering a bit. Maybe you'd like a little bit of calm after all the excitement of the ferry journey, would you? Yeah, it's lovely. In a minute, when the rain's paused a little bit more, I even get to some blue sky here. We'll get out and have a bit of a stroll. Just a short one. Now this is going to be tricky because there is an astonishing panorama across here. It really is lovely. I don't know whether it'll show up on this camera, especially with the A-post in the way, but it really is lovely, and I want to take photos of this. The only way to do this, I think, is with a longish lens. And I'll take a few stills, but a longish lens and a tripod ideally, and you go around and you can stitch together a very wide panorama, which this deserves. It's changing all the time as well. I'll probably overdose on this. I'll probably be blasé about it by the time I've spent a few days here, but just at present this is really lovely. However, as you know, I don't have my tripod, or at least not really in a functional form, so I'm going to try and do some handheld photos and stitch them together. It'll be interesting to see if that works. Well, it's kind of impossible. I've been here for like 3 or 4 minutes and I could have got half a dozen completely different photos out of this. The light is just changing all the time. At the moment, bright sunshine over there, dazzling in fact, so that when you take a photo the camera compensates and you get these dramatic dark clouds if you don't want to be completely overexposed by the sun. And it's lovely. It's really lovely. Okay, let's move on. And it periodically becomes single track with passing places. There aren't many roads. There probably aren't many people. I don't know what the population of the island is actually, but occasionally you'll just pass a little one-track road going off somewhere, which but generally this is the road and you follow it, and it's but they're in great condition compared to some of the other ones I've passed on this journey. This is well maintained. detour here down to Miavaig. I don't know. Who knows how you pronounce it, but the jetty down here. There is supposedly a little restaurant. I wonder if it's open. The Scallop Shack. Continue down to the car park. Where is the car park exactly? I sort of feel here as if I might be going off the end of the pier. But there is more around the corner. There's the Scallop Shack, but it looks very close to me. Oh well, I wasn't really expecting much, but it was worth it for this view. No one around, it says here. Please check in the fridge for scallops and mussels, and there's an honesty box. That's fabulous. Let's have a look. Oh, I've just noticed this wall. Isn't this cool? Right. And in here, nothing here. Nothing here either. But if there's no one around, please check in the fridge to see if any scallops are available and use the honesty box provided. That's brilliant. What a great little shack. Still, he's not sure about all the noises here. Well, Miavaig is a very quaint little harbour. Tell you what though, it's quite a bit colder out here than it was on the mainland. We are a bit further north and of course a bit more remote, but you'd have thought we'd be closer to the Gulf Stream. In amongst it. And if that's what was keeping us warm on land, then it's not doing much now. Right, let's press on to our final destination. The place we're staying is called Timsgearraidh, or at least that's the town, and the town, not sure what's there actually, might be a house. The Keeper's Lodge at Timsgearraidh, and that is about just under 3 miles from here. Shop here. Miavaig community shop. Beautiful golden light over there as we head into the west. Miavaig Sands Restaurant, Miavaig Lodge, smoked salmon. Now I believe that the restaurant is run by the people who run this Airbnb, which would make sense. I wonder if it's open. hoping so. This is Ullapool Lodge over here, I think, and this is the keeper's house just off to the right. Yes, this is the picture in the photos, and there's a happy dog leaping around. He and Tilly will make friends. Lovely view over that way. Ullapool Lodge is somewhat dramatic, see with that light behind it. But, oh, Tilly, it's another black spaniel. Hello. Hello. Be careful. Well, here we are. So have a lovely house, some delightful kids. Black spaniel named Mabel is not entirely sure about Tilly's invasion of her house, but they seem to be sort of tolerating each other. And they do own the restaurant over here, but last night was their last night, so I really have just missed it. And the lodge over there, I don't know what they do at the lodge over there, but clearly there's something to do with salmon smoking. Tilly, come this way, don't go there. So we're just, while they're sitting down, we're just going to take a walk up the road and go and look at the shop. Well, it's a lovely morning and it's actually not too windy. This is the first time for a while that we've had little enough wind that you can probably actually hear me. So I'm leaving the house behind, walking up here past Ullapool Lodge, which they also run as a place you can rent or as a bed and breakfast, and they also have a salmon smokery here, so it's quite an endeavour. I haven't seen the restaurant yet, which is down there, but over there we have a beach, a rather wonderful beach, and my plan is to walk around this way, come across the beach. Apparently there's a little footbridge down there somewhere where we can get across the river and come back up and do a bit of a circuit, and it looks as if we might have a lovely day for it. This way because it's rather boggy down there, but somewhere there is a path over to the road that way. I think I'll go down a little and see if I can find it down here. It may be a wee bit drier on this side. You'll notice, by the way, that we have sunshine. This is something to take note of when it happens. Yeah, I think this is the path down here. Ellie mentioned something about it skirting around the side of the hill. Very fine path. Not that Tilly cares for paths very much. First bridge of the day. And wait. This is where we have to clip Tilly on because we're going onto the road. So you can see the lodge up there and just about the roof of the keeper's house where I'm staying. And this is the Forza River, which has a lovely valley it winds through here, which I might explore, except for the fact it's pretty soggy down there. But this flows under this bridge, under the road, and goes out to the beach, which is where we're heading for. Now, I've decided to turn the auto wind noise suppression back on. And sometimes that may make for some... Oh, that's pretty. Sorry, short pause. Look over there. Isn't that nice? Sometimes that may make for some strange effects, but when I tried a day in strong wind without it on at all on the boat, you basically couldn't hear anything I was saying. So of course I either have to do this, or you have to have lots of footage of me striding along purposefully without actually saying anything, which you could argue is probably an improvement. So, here we are on the top of the hill. Over there is where we're staying, and the river we crossed flows out down here, sort of spreads out right across the beach, but eventually narrows down to a river over there. Now, in theory, somewhere over here there's a footbridge where I can get... Oh, I think I can see it. I think it's down there. So that's the narrowest point. So my aim is to get down to the beach and try and get over that footbridge there, and then we'll have done a circuit. Now the road goes way round here, but there's a gate there, and I think we can get down across the grass here, or there's a bit of a path which will give us a shortcut down to the beach. Well, I've run out of battery for my main camera, so I'm going to do a little bit of shooting with this. It'll be interesting to see how well this works. So the islands here are well aware of the importance from tourism point of view of their campervans and motorhomes, and they have a few areas which are specifically set out to make that easy for people. This is a lovely spot, Ardroil campsite. Donations are welcome. They have water here, they have, I think there's chemical waste disposal over there, and then around the corner here we have a shower. Yeah, I'm not sure that that's working, but there is a loo in here anyway. And then there are loos along there, another shower along there. All very good here, and the shore is just over here. This is a great beach. You can see my footprints. Nobody else has been down here this morning, at least not since the tide receded, which wasn't long ago. This was completely underwater just an hour or two ago, and it's receding very fast out there, and leaving behind this wonderfully firm sand. It's very easy walking, and we've got the whole place to ourselves. It's beautiful. This, I think, is fabulous. This is a bridge which appears to go to nowhere. It goes into the middle of the river, but when the tide's in, it probably doesn't bridge out into the middle of the sea. But the idea is the river flows under the right-hand side, which it probably does at low water. The river flows under there, and so this gets you close enough that you can get onto the beach from this side. I'll go and find out whether it's shallow enough on this side for my boots, which are reasonably waterproof, to cope with. If not, it's not very much far back to the house if I get wet feet. Well, it turns out that my boots are waterproof, sort of up to the laces, but not very much waterproof. Slightly wet feet, but not bad at all. And look at this fine bridge. Very picturesquely fitting in with the surroundings. So I decided to come and take a quick look at their restaurant, Uig Sands restaurant, and you can see just from the reflection in the windows, it looks very nice inside. You can see from the reflection in the windows what a great view you have here. It has these big picture windows, and that's the view, and it's really rather good.